Hey troops, in the next round of the repeater upgrades, the new antenna is here, the new Diamond 510. So John's already had this one out of the package, checked it over. I'm going to take it out of the package to put the jumper on. I'm going to check it over, so we've had two sets of eyes on it. And this is going to become the spare antenna side mounted around 90 feet. See how far I can make it up the tower when that time comes with it. So we'll get to that. Also going on the repeater site is a brand spanking new in the box Starlink system. Yeah, how about that? In the other videos I mentioned, we currently are running Yaesu System Fusion up there, and he's running the internet link through RF back to his house. That's working fine. That's going to get redone. That's going to run through Starlink. The DMR, we're running Brandmeister, and that needs to be internet on site. No problem. So that's going to run through the Starlink. So both repeaters are going to connect to the Starlink. We'll get to that on site. So I've got a little bit of work I need to do in the shop because we need to be able to mount the Starlink antenna to the tower. It would work on the ground, but we don't want it sitting on the ground. We can't put it on the roof of the building. So I need to make a bracket that fits on the tower. In this box, we've got some various stuff. I don't know if this came with it or not, but we've got a full-way bracket. It's got some grippers on it. I might be able to do it with this. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to size it up on my tower. That's a nice thing. I can fit this all at home and make sure it's going to work. Because keep in mind, you know, we've got a big panel, so it's not like we can just stick this on the tower and stick, you know, a pipe on it and then stick the antenna on, because we've got to make sure that the antenna has room to be able to angle, pivot, do its thing and not hit the tower leg, right? Yep. So that's what I'm working on figuring out right now. This is probably the worst part of it all, figuring out how to put it together using these awesome pictures. You know, there's not actually really any directions, it's just figure out the photos. Okay. So all this contraption goes together somehow, and then I guess because this is the same shape as that, this is a ground mount, it looks like in the pictures. So I guess that somehow comes out and this somehow goes in to mount to this pipe, which is supposed to go on a wall. And I need to make this wall mount to go on the tower. That's the plan. We're skipping ahead to number 4. We're not doing all of this stuff yet. So it doesn't say to pick it up. It just kind of shows pulling it. Well, I think what we got to do, as I've looked around here, looks like we need to pick it up and then pull it out. I think. I don't know. Looks like there's a couple of recessed tabs that go down in the panel to hold that thing in there. Be nice if they kind of gave you some direction there. Looking at this gizmo that's supposed to replace that thingamadoodle. You know, here's that handle thing. Here's a tab and here's a tab. So those are the locking tabs. So I would say, yeah, you just pick up those two tabs. I don't see anything else funky. What do you guys think? That was a process, but I finally made it. Yeah, I got it. So now I just gotta get this all in the right order. If I snap that in now, I won't be able to plug my cable in. So I gotta make sure I do this right. And we're skipping step 5, 6, and 7 because we're not screwing this thing here to a wall. No, we're bolting into a tower. Yeah. Alright, we'll get that figured out. Modified directions, we'll call it. Yep, right there. Screwing her to a wall. Nope, not doing that. So now we got the gray plate, pipe, then the cable. Alright, so it looks like we got to put the plate, the pipe together, then the cable in, and plug it together. Alright, we'll try that. This thing's a pain in the butt. I'm getting there. I guess this is only one-way fit, seems to be. All right. Pipe. Gray plate. There she is. Cable. Well, that ain't gonna work because I'm gonna have to run the cable all the way through the other. Yeah, whiz bang. We're gonna run it through the base mount first too. Then we're gonna run it up through the pipe. That's gonna save me having to uncoil all the rest of that cable. And keep it all in a nice neat coil. Okay. And we're gonna come up through here like that, I guess. Now I think I can plug it in. Picture tells me I can plug it in now, so thank God I didn't snap that plate in there before doing all this, because I would have hated to try and get this plate back out. Alright, well, let's see. Which way is this gonna go? The opposite way that the thing's facing. Of course, why not, right? Okay, well, plugged in there. Secure, it's not coming back out. Well, here we go. Do or die. There that is. So the reason I ran it through here first, so I didn't have to uncoil all of that to get this piece on. Alright, okay, so that swivels. Alright, now I gotta get this turned. Alright, that wasn't too bad, I guess, once I got a better figured out. So that's downhill. So she's gonna sit on the tower. Something like so. Alright, so we're gonna lock her down about like that. Yep, there we go. As I was saying about, we can't just strap this thing to the tower, because here's what you're gonna get. Here's the bracket, and here's the panel. Not gonna work. It has to be offset from the tower, like so. So we're gonna need to be offset probably, well, let's call it at least 8 inches. All right. Well, we can rig up something. Drilled a couple holes in that metal plate that match up to the holes in this bracket. I got a short stub of unistrut that I cut. So I wanted to put the holes in first. Number one, so I had access to drill them. Number two, so they wouldn't interfere with this stub that I'm going to glue on here in a minute. I didn't want the bolt hole to land, something like that or whatever, be in the way. So that's going to land on there. Here's what I come up with. There's that bracket welded onto that stub and welded onto that. So the little short stub is 8 inches. I figured we had to be out off the tower 8 inches plus the thickness of the unistrut. So we should be out plenty far enough. So this is going to U-bolt. There's junk hanging on this tower. That is going to U-bolt between 2 tower legs, just like so. Not bothering to bolt it all to this tower because that's just a waste of time. And then, plan is, so it should be U-bolted up like that. And then this bolts onto the flat plate like so. Look at that, we've got, I don't know, 4 inches between the top of the panel and the tower. Mint. That'll work. Found a can of old Rust-Oleum paint and primer. Shouldn't it be primary paint, not paint and primer? But anyway, sitting on the shelf. So, see if it works. Be good just to have something on this, especially over the welds and the cuts. So, I've been shaking it for a while. I'm gonna see if I can paint it. Hey, it's coming out. Well, that's good. Good sign. Turning black. Well, there it is. Standoff bracket. The unit strut was just scrap pan laying around. Pulled it out of the corner. Cut her up. Welded it together. The flat plate. I don't know the story behind that, but I didn't pay nothing for it. So, hey, A1. Ain't got it? Make it. Next stop, see you on the tower. You know, the guys that built this tower many, many years ago were nice enough to face this face right here, northeast. So that's where we're going to put the Starlink, right on this face here. We're gonna reuse the hole that the internet company made. Unlike our old internet friends, we know how to build a drip loop instead of just running it down and making a water ramp to get water in the building. Alright. There we go, she comes out, drops down for drip loop, goes up the leg of the tower, up to about 22 feet, and there it is. So, one of these days I'll build a nice bridge, just so if any icing happens up there, it can't come and take the antenna out. Well, just had to jump up here and realign it and decided it doesn't want to be northeast, it wants to be east. It rebooted itself, it's happy right there, it says adjustment is good, so that's where we're going to leave it. There it is, she's up and running. Starlink likes orientation. The Wi-Fi part is good in here. So next phase is going to be getting repeaters connected up to it and getting them up and running in here with the Starlink. See you then.